Viking TV. We want to bring to your attention now, we've heard a lot about Emmanuel Macron, the French president of France, who basically came up from nowhere. Like, nobody really knew who this guy was. Then all of a sudden, he rises in ranks in political rankings in France. And so a little bit about Emmanuel Macron, and then we're going to get into the topic of this main video here in just a minute. If you don't know who Emmanuel Macron is, it is this gentleman right here, kind of a blurred picture of him, but you'll see him throughout the media. He is a socialist. Trump does not really kind of endorse him at all. He's kind of on the sidelines he doesn't really agree with a lot of things that Emmanuel Macron does or says. Trump has also suggested that Emmanuel Macron and France and most of Europe is indirectly or directly funding the terrorist organization Islam, or not the Islam, but ISIS fighters. Islam being, a certain religion or whatever. Emmanuel Macron, his spouse is Brigitte Macron, born December 21st, 1977. He's 42 years old right now. Emmanuel Jean Michael Frederick Macron. So to decipher those names, you can do that later on. If you're into this type of stuff, please drop subscribe down below. I would appreciate that. Subscribing and sharing this video helps get my videos recognized. The parents of Emmanuel Macron is Francois Nogus and Jean Michael Macron. You can also decipher those names. But one thing that I was looking at is when you type in Emmanuel Macron's signature, you can see that, let's go to this one right here. When you're looking at these symbols here, basically what you kind of got to do is just look at these two symbols here. So when you're looking at these two symbols here, and you turn it sideways, so let's say up and down, sideways, you got to be able to decipher those two, and then being able to look at it like so. So when you're looking at it and you snapshot this and you turn it upside down sideways, you essentially see two symbols here. Let's just say it's a big giant 7 and then a Z or a 2. Forget the A, but we're going to go ahead and look at the 7 and the 2 or the Z. Now, going on over here to my next page, we will see that the Emmanuel Macron signature is, again, that. It's consistently staying that. Now, a lot of people have actually talked about Emmanuel Macron being the son of Satan and the Luciferian type army and stuff like that, being a socialist. He's probably along the lines with the idea of, it's okay to abort. He was originally baptized at his own discretion as a Catholic at the age of 12. Once he grew up, then he became kind of not religious at all and not faith-based. So as he grew up, it became very evident that a lot of these Luciferians that have been known as being Luciferians. There are some very high, powerful political and religious people that have actually asked for him, Emmanuel Macron, to pray for him. So that really caught my attention. When you look at their goodbye greetings, you kind of get the idea that this guy is not like a normal person. He's not a normal leader. Specifically when you see that and you hear that people were saying, you know what, you need to pray for me. And then he's also going over to other more powerful leaders and telling them, you know what, you're not listening to me. We need to be able to talk and you're not listening to me. Like, this guy, he's got balls of steel. Like, he is not scared of anyone. And so because he kind of knows that his time maybe is coming sooner than later. So we're going to go ahead and look at those previous symbols again. So to kind of refresh, we're looking at the big tall 7 and then the Z or 2. And what you got to do is you got to turn it on its side. So the Z is pointing upwards, the 7 is pointing upwards or sideways. So what we're going to go ahead and look at is the sigil of Baphomet. It is the official insignia of the Church of Satan. It is first appeared on the cover of the Satanic Mass LP in 1968 and later the cover of the Satanic Bible in 1969. The sigil has been called the material pentagram, representational of the carnality and the earthly principles. The Church describes the symbol as the preeminent visual distillation of the iconoclastic philosophy of Satanism. So we're going to go ahead and first look at the big tall 7. Looks familiar. Then we're going to go ahead and look at that 2 or Z that was over there on the other side. Of course, it is backwards. You have to take these things into consideration when you're looking at these things. So let's go ahead and try to evaluate this a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and look at, first of all, there's a Z in front of his name. And nothing in this letters look like Emanuel. And then the 7 does not look like Macron, which would be an M. I mean, it would probably if you had like a backwards 7 looking the other way. I mean, there are specific reasons why there is a Z or a 2 in front, not indicating anything with an E. I mean, even if you look at the numerical versus alphabetical equivalency to these letters, let's just say A is going to be 1, B is going to be 2. Okay, so then let's just say we have 2. 2 does not indicate or represent B, and E is obviously down the alphabetical orders down further. Then you're going to go ahead and look at this, what seems to be a 7 or a type of spear with a dagger point at the end. And then obviously some type of connection. All we see is Z7 acron, which is very clear. There is a very clear N, there is a very clear R, and a C and an A. So why couldn't the 7 and Z be as clear as the rest of the name? Simply when you're writing your signature, you usually write your name in a signature form. Very few times have I ever seen someone write a different name, especially as a president or as a authoritative figure, which needs to be a legal document. A legal document having a different name or a false name would not be something to write down on some legal form. So just looking at this again, turning this sideways, I would if I could, but essentially we have a Z or a 2 there. And then we have a 7, which is a symbol. Now, if you're Hebrew or Latin or whatever these type of things are, you can decipher what those letters mean and their exact references. As far as an alphabet for this Satan type of stuff, I can't find it, but there are these symbols here that really stand out to me, and I hope this stands out to you. If it does, please drop a subscribe and share. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be on the lookout, stay safe, always trust in God, and ask for guidance, wisdom, and may God bless you all. Have a great day.
The fact that it is easier to make war than peace. What we saw unfold in that event really was a sequence of impassionate pleas for global cooperation, for working together to tackle some of the most pressing crises facing the world at the moment, for valuing international institutions such as the United Nations. The French president delivered a surprisingly brief address and then invited the German Chancellor Angela Merkel and the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to open the forum. Merkel spoke about the importance, or highlighted or warned against isolationism, saying it didn't work 100 years ago. Why would it work in today's interconnected world? And Antonio Guterres invited other world leaders to strengthen international cooperation to face the threats and tests of today and tomorrow. So it was really all about strengthening international cooperation, strengthening the foundations for lasting peace. And the vast majority of the 70 or so world leaders who came here to Paris to attend Armistice commemorations attended the Paris Forum, the Paris Peace Forum, with, of course,
as often as we need. For instance, during the past weeks, we had probably 3 to 4 phone calls together. We have a very fluent and open discussion.
And you would characterize that relationship as friendly?
Yes, very direct.
You talked about Jerusalem.
Yes, exactly.
Before.
Yes.
And he said what?
He said that probably he will announce the fact that he wanted to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
And you told him what?
I told him I thought it was a mistake, because we've worked all together on the recognition of 2 states, Israel and Palestine, with borders recognized by the international community, and that such a unilateral decision is not compliant with our international discussions and our international rules, and will not facilitate a peace process, because that's a unilateral decision, and that's pretty much humiliating for the Palestinian side.
Was that a calm conversation? Was that a confrontational conversation?
I think it's always an open and direct